All right, good morning, Chair Postman, Member Garrett, staff and guests. The lobbies are open and the recording has begun.
Thanks, Justin. Good morning, everybody. We'll convene the board caucus for Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Member Bollendroff is on leave today. Our one and only agenda item today is a legislative update, and Ledge Director Mark Webster is with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman and Member Garrett. It's week 3, and we've officially passed the quarter mark of session. So the House of Origin cutoff is in 8 days. So it's really going to be a sprint here for the next week and really for the rest of session. As always, if you have questions about bills that you're particularly interested in, let me know. But for now, I just wanted to go over some of the ones that we've been tracking closely. Our agency request bills are doing well. They're scheduled to move out of the policy committees in both chambers later on today. So the Senate Labor and Commerce Committee and the House Regulated Substances and Gaming Committee. No worries there as of yet. Some of the other important bills that we've been following include the Department of Agriculture's agency request to transfer the lab accreditation standards that are currently set to go to ecology to the Department of Ag. That's House Bill 2151. That passed out of committee yesterday with an amendment that we're still trying to kind of chase down a little bit. The amendment would remove the requirement in law that a sample tests above the action limit for something, then the entire lot from which it was taken has to be destroyed. In rule, there are a whole bunch of options in that scenario. People can remediate, they can ask for a retest, they can make it into an extraction if that passes the quality assurance test. So removing that, certainly I need to better understand what exactly that does, how it interacts with the rules that are currently on the books. Could be of concern, but we need to take a look at that. In that same hearing, the out-of-state ownership bill, which was scheduled for exec, did not pass out of committee. There's still a little bit of time to exec it, but I have to say it doesn't really look good for that proposal. The adult entertainment bill is scheduled to move out of the Labor and Commerce Committee in the Senate on Thursday. It had been scheduled for today's exec calendar, but this leaves a little bit more time for amendments. We know we're going to see some amendments. We've already seen a couple of drafts over the weekend. We could see some on the House side too, as that bill, the House Bill 2036, is scheduled to move tomorrow, Wednesday. The alcohol delivery bill from Senator Conway, 6122, that incorporated several recommendations from our report on alcohol delivery, the 5448 report, was heard yesterday. That kind of divided some of the stakeholders, I think. The hospitality industry is very much in support. Groceries and some of the delivery companies, you know, your Uber Eats, your DoorDash, they expressed some concerns and are pushing for some changes. So I'll try to figure out what those are and what we might support or not. We're seeing a number of bills, and I think this is just bills that adjust how the dedicated cannabis revenues are allocated. So, you know, I think the last change to that was in 2022. This year, there's one that takes the portion that goes to the general fund, which is just about a third of that revenue. One proposal would send that to local governments and really try to focus that on local law enforcement. There's another bill that would take that same portion, 32%, and move it to increase Medicaid reimbursement rates for providers. So lots of different thinking on those. Those were originally referred to Labor and Commerce. Labor and Commerce has just moved them without recommendation to the Fiscal Committee, to Ways and Means, and they'll be taken up there. That's what I've got for this week.
Okay, on that one, I mean, we don't normally get involved in where the money goes, unless there's some, I suppose, policy implication that would suffer. But I don't. Yeah.
No. We've gently provided some feedback if there's some drafting errors, and we've definitely seen some that don't quite work. But in this case, this is just policy that we've been neutral on. If you'd like to weigh in, let me know.
No.
Yeah.
No, we don't need to pick fights.
Yeah.
But, one I wanted to ask you about was 6209, which is the hemp.
Yes, hemp and food.
Yeah. What's the status and what have we said about it, if anything?
Not a whole lot. We originally saw an earlier bill from Senator Hasagawa. I think it was 6077, which looked fine to us. 6209, I think was heard in the Agriculture Committee.
Yep.
We did not take a position on that. It's just, I think we're going to be watching those bills like a hawk just to make sure that they aren't amended in a way that could interfere with, conflict with the THC bill from last year, 5367, which creates the definition of the hemp consumable and all that sort of a thing. So as written right now, certainly 6209 didn't seem objectionable, but it wouldn't take a whole lot to perhaps make it so.
Right. I think it's worth watching. I mean, I guess, and I know, it was not agency request, et cetera, so we can't go and advocate for it directly. I guess I'd just say, from my view, as I understand that bill as written, not as it could be amended, at least,
right,
gets to what I think is something that's important to me, at least, is you remember last year when we had our THC bill, there were some who said this is going to kill the hemp industry in Washington State.
Right.
And I said, no, that's not our intention. This seems to help mitigate some of that rhetoric, maybe, because I'm not sure it ever really was true, but you know what I mean? So
yeah.
I guess just personally, if that bill moves cleanly, I think it helps us in implementing the THC bill and can say, this we're worried about.
Okay.
That's, anyhow, that's sort of my personal view of it, I guess. And I'm not the expert, so correct me if I'm wrong, but it just seems like it would help channel a piece of this activity into a new non-impairing way. That's what's key to me, is it's clearly below detectable level, that non-impairing.
Sure.
That's just the lay person's word, non-impairing, but you know what I mean. Doesn't get you high, we're not going to worry about it. This is the stuff we're worried about.
Right.
Anyways, okay. Any other questions for Mark? Anything else, Ollie, on your agenda? Okay.
Mark, can you give me a call after this?
Absolutely. Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have anything else then. Good. All right. Thanks, Mark. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that finishes our media agenda today. Seeing nothing else, we will go ahead and adjourn the caucus meeting for the 23rd, January 23rd of 2024, and we'll be back next Tuesday for a caucus. Thanks, everybody.